guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing some thrift flipping action and we're going to try to turn this pair of pants into a mini skirt. So for those of you who recognize these pants, it's the pants that I wear like literally all the time. This is actually the first pair of pants that I bought, and I wore them so much that the fabric in the booty area kind of got a little too thin, and it got to the point where you could kind of see through it, and that's not exactly what you want from a pair of pants. So I went back to the store that I bought them from, and I actually found another pair in large, and I was able to adjust them to fit me. So I do actually have two pairs of these pants, and I kept these ones because I really loved the fabric, and I really wanted to save them for a thrift flip. And I'm going to try to turn them into a cute little mini skirt with maybe a little slit down it, and I'm hoping that it'll work and it'll be really, really cute. So of course I'm just going to be using this old pair from my closet, but if you guys want to make this project, you could totally find an old pair of pants from a thrift store. You just want to make sure that you don't work with a pair of like skinny jeans that won't have enough fabric to actually make a skirt. So these ones are a flare style, and I'm hoping that this flare design will give us enough fabric to work with. And I have a lot of fun with thrift flipping because it's like a puzzle, like to figure out how to like get enough fabric like out of this to make another piece, and I think it's just really, really cool. So I'm really excited about this. But before we get started on the project, I'm really excited to mention that this video is sponsored by Skillshare. And for those of you who don't know, Skillshare is a huge online learning community. It has thousands of classes to choose from, and they are all so cool and creative. And it is just such a great place to learn new skills and deepen those passions. And they have seriously all kinds of classes from drawing, painting, digital art, writing, photography, literally like so many classes to choose from, and it is just so fun to browse through them and see all the different classes that you can take. Something that I actually really love doing but don't get around to doing enough is painting floral and botanical designs. So one of the classes that I'm really excited about is Botanical Illustration, Paint a Colorful Garden with Watercolor and Gouache by Sarah Boccaccini Meadows, because she goes through all of the tools and materials you'll need, techniques for mixing colors and adding details, and a lot of other techniques to help you learn this new medium. And for just $10 a month with an annual subscription, Skillshare is also super affordable. Skillshare also offers live classes so you can experience real-time learning while working alongside other members. And I'm also super excited to announce that the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership so you guys can explore your creativity. And with all that said, I think it's time to get to thrift flipping. Okay, so first up I'm going to take our pant leg, and I'm going to measure mine and cut it, I think, so that it is 22 inches from the bottom of the pant leg. And I'm going to cut the other one as well. And I'm going to save the rest of the pants because I'm probably going to need to make a waistband in a little bit. Turn these into shorts. Looking at my pant legs, I do notice that the back piece of the pants is a little bit bigger because it's folding over on top of the front one. And next, I think I'm just going to turn them inside out, and I'm going to seam rip one side of the pant leg. And you may have to seam rip a little bit of the pants hem as well, just so we can seam rip that whole side up, and that is totally fine. Now that both of the pieces are seam ripped, I think I'm going to make the bigger panel the front panels, and the smaller ones go down the sides. So I'm just going to put these pretty side to pretty side, so that the pattern of the skirt should go big panel, small panel, big panel, small panel. So I'm going to put these pieces one on top of the other and sew down both sides. We need to be able to try this skirt on, so I'm going to fold one of the bigger panels in half, and I'm going to cut a slit in the back that is 6 inches long so that we can try it on and off. Okay, this skirt is actually looking really cute already. Like, I am very surprised at how cute this is. I made the waist very long just so that we wouldn't make it too short by accident. But I realized that I liked the hem of the pants as the hem of the skirt. So I'm just going to mark the top of the skirt where I want the finished length to be, which is probably about there for me. So I'm just going to put a pin right here. So I think I'm just going to take this off really quickly and cut a little bit above that line so that we can start adjusting these seams down the sides. Now that it's a little bit closer to what I want it to be, I really need to figure out how to make the waist not so gigantic on me, but I really like the flare that I'm getting from the skirt. And I'm also wearing the skirt inside out now, as you can see, so we can mess with the seams a little bit easier. And what I'm thinking is that the front panel is a little too wide for this style, So I think I'm going to seam rip it down either side and cut just a little bit off of it, taking a little bit extra off of the waist to make this fit a little bit better. And I'm going to do the same thing on the back one as well. And also because I cut the top of the skirt, I'm going to need to make the slit in the back a little bit bigger. Actually, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit lazy and I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. So I'm actually just going to cut these seams off. And now that the front panel is free, I'm just going to fold it in half and I'm going to cut this down a bit. And I'm basically going to reassemble the skirt, but for now I think I'm going to leave the back panel untouched. When I re-sew this, I'm also going to take it in a little bit more at the waistline, and then on the right side of the pants, I'm actually going to stop about 4 inches from the bottom of the skirt so we can add in a little slit later. The next step on the skirt today is we need to finish up the hem because I undid it a little bit so that I could sew all the pieces together. So I'm just going to restitch all of those seams and then I'm going to show you guys how to finish up the slit. The way we're going to finish up the slit is we're essentially just going to hem these edges. So I have the raw edges just open here and I'm going to fold that edge over once, fold it in again, and just make it gradually go all the way down to the slit. And you only need to fold the edges as far as where we stopped sewing. And now I'm going to start from this end of the slit, so up at here, pivot and go across, and then go back down the other side. We have to cut one more piece out for our skirts, so I'm going back to our now really funky corduroy shorts, and I'm going to lay these out sideways. And then I'm going to take our skirt and lay the top of it down on top of the pants. And now we're just going to cut a waistband piece out. So essentially, I'm just going to trace the top edge of the skirt, making sure to leave enough so we have a seam allowance on either side here, so we can sew the waistband together. And then I'm going to measure and cut 2.5 inches away from the top edge of the waistband all the way around to make sure it's all nice and even. And then because the zipper is going down the back, I'm going to take one of these and fold it in half and just cut it down the back so that it'll fit onto the skirts. And now the next step is I'm just going to take the waistband that we just cut out and I'm just going to sew either side of it so that we have one long piece here. Now I need to finish up the bottom edge of the waistband. So you can do just a little tiny hem on it, but I'm a little concerned that you're going to be able to see that because the fabric will be a little bit thick under that spot. So I think I'm just going to do a zigzag all along the bottom edge just to make sure we don't get any fraying. And bringing back our skirt piece, we're now going to take the waistband and pin it and sew it all around the top edge of the skirt. And I put a pin down the middle of both of them so that we can start them from the same spot, and I'm just going to pin them all the way around. And now your skirt should be looking like this. So we can take this edge and fold it over and down, and then we have a finished edge on the skirt. To make this edge lay a little bit flatter though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it onto the back side, and then I'm going to fold all the raw edges towards the waistband, and I'm just going to stitch very close to the seam right here, stitching all of the raw edges down. And now just as another extra measure to hold this little flap down, I'm going to push it down to the back side, and then down all of the seams on the front, I'm just going to make sure it's laying super flat, and I'm going to put a few stitches right down the seam to hold the waistband down on the back. And now you can't see that there's any stitching there, but it's nice and secure in the back. And the very last thing to do on the skirt is to put an invisible zipper down the back. So I just have this pink one here, and it's okay if your invisible zipper is longer than your project, it just can't be any shorter. So I will show you guys the whole process on how to put it in. The first step when working with invisible zippers is actually ironing it out, because we want to take this folded over edge and iron it out so that it is like that. And now I'm going to take our zipper and flip it onto the back side. And this edge that we just ironed out, you want to sew really close to the zipper. There's kind of a line right here. I'm going to mark it so you guys can kind of see it a little bit better. But essentially, we're just going to sew as close to the zipper as we can get it without actually hitting the zipper. So I'm going to take the back of the skirt and we're going to open up our zipper, and we want to take the left side for the left part of the skirt, and then we're going to flip it over onto its back side and line it up with the skirt. And I put a pin on one side just to mark how much I want to take in from either side to make it fit comfortably, and I'm going to make it gradually get closer to the edge where we cut it open. And then for the other side, you want to make sure you don't twist your zipper. Again, I'm going to take the right side, flip it onto the back, and just pin it and sew it in place. And now when you zip it up, you should hardly be able to see the zipper at all. And to finish up the zipper, I'm just going to take this long tail that we have left and pull it through to the back side. And I'm just going to put a few stitches across the tail here to hold it in place, and then just go ahead and cut all this excess off. And for these little scraggly parts at the top, I'm just going to open this up, fold this down to the other side, and then just put a few stitches here to hold this in place. And now the top edge looks nice and clean. The last little bit to clean up is just where we stopped the invisible zipper, because it kind of has this little funky pocket here. It's just because we didn't go all the way down to where we cut it open. So I'm just going to continue this line and hand stitch it down until it goes to a nice little neat point. Done! And with that, our old pants have officially been transformed into a cute new skirt. And here is the final thrift flip. Honestly, these pants worked out better as a thrift flip than I was even expecting. It was honestly really easy, and I think the finished product is so cute. I had a lot of fun pairing like different outfits with it, and it's really versatile, so it's really easy to style, and it's also really cute and comfortable. And just like the little flare, the little slit, like, oh, she's so cute. I really hope you guys give this thrift flip a try, and if you do, you can always send me a picture on Instagram. And if you want to see more of my tutorials, I post a video every Friday. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!